My beloved child, you are standing before a monumental moment in history. What is happening around you is not merely an earthly event, but signs from the heavens sent to awaken the soul. You have asked for a confirmation, you have longed for an assurance, and now I grant it to you through the upheavals that the natural eyes can see, yet only the spirit can truly perceive. I do not speak through abstract images, nor do I send you vague dreams, but I reveal myself through concrete reality so that your heart may know that eternal dominion does not belong to any man on earth, but to me alone. Look deeply, for what you see is not merely the change of a person, but the hidden movement of a sacred current. You often think that places of religious authority or majestic strongholds are unshakable. But I tell you, everything built by man is only temporary, even when clothed in splendor. Do you remember the words of Christ? Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. Matthew 2:4-5. When he spoke these words, he affirmed an eternal truth. The things your eyes see will vanish, but what belongs to me endures forever. Therefore, the shifts you witness today are only a sign of a greater reality, that no throne on earth can stand unless it is founded upon righteousness and true love. Reflect on this. Why do I allow shaking to take place in the very places you believe to be the holiest? It is because I want you and this generation to understand that my presence is not bound by architecture, rituals, or positions. Even when wrapped in garments of grandeur, even when walking among thousands of voices praising man, is still but dust beneath my gaze. I am not moved by titles, nor am I impressed by outward majesty. I seek a humble heart that trembles at my word. As it is written in Psalm 5:1-7, the sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart, O God, you will not despise. This is what I long for in you, not the glitter of ceremony. My child, you must understand that every upheaval you see is but a curtain unveiling the spiritual reality. I am showing the world that thrones built by man can collapse at any moment, but my kingdom is eternal. When one person is taken down, another may be set up, but all of them pass away like the wind. Only one throne remains forever, the throne that belongs to me. I am the one who breathed out the stars, and with a single breath, I can dissolve the empires of men. I am making you aware that the only thing unshakable is my presence. Do you perceive the deeper meaning of what is unfolding? This is not merely history. It is a sign I send to teach you to discern what is true and what is false. The voice of the crowd may confuse you. The news may unsettle you, but my voice resounds above them all. Remember, I do not only reveal myself in thunder or blazing fire, but I also speak in the gentle whisper. What you must do is not panic, but listen. Not analyze with human logic, but see with the eyes of faith. When you dare to look beyond appearances, you will see my hand at work in every detail. Do not cling to what is old. Do not place your trust in man, for man changes. Do not think holiness is found in grand cathedrals or solemn rituals, for these are only coverings. True holiness is found in a faithful heart, in a spirit that longs for my presence. I am calling you to look beyond the news, beyond political or religious shifts, to see that all these things are but a stage for a greater revelation. I am sovereign, and my glory I will share with no one. Do not tremble when you see rulers brought low or hear of changes in power. Regard these as both a warning and an encouragement. A warning that those who rely only on titles without my presence will soon fade. An encouragement that I am still in control and nothing takes place outside of my authority. Above all, take this as an invitation. I am calling you closer, deeper, to seek me in the secret place, that you may be prepared for what is coming. Now is the time you must learn to stand firm when the world shakes. You must learn to place your trust, not in human thrones, but in my unchanging promise. As Psalm 125:1 declares, "Those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion, which cannot be shaken, but endures forever." This is the foundation you must hold to, because in the days ahead there will be more exposures, more changes, but those who trust in me will not be swept away. And this is why I give you this sign, not to make you fearful, but to awaken you, to make you know that now is the time to prepare the time to keep your heart pure and walk in complete obedience. My beloved child, I want you to understand that the upheavals you witness are not random moments of history, but deliberate steps within my plan. When a figure is removed, when a robe of authority is taken away, it is not merely the affair of men. It is a bell from heaven, a clarion call reminding that supreme power belongs to no human, but only to the one who created the universe. You must realize that what happens today is a spiritual lesson where I, myself, teach you the limits of man and the boundlessness of my being. My child, I know. Your heart has once wondered. You have asked, why do those who are elevated so quickly fall? Why do titles once resounding and ceremonies once glorious suddenly fade away? The answer is this: no one can hold on forever to what does not belong to them. The anointing, the power, the true authority come only from me, and only in me can man sustain the glory given to them. But when their hearts turn from me, when they exalt themselves rather than bow low, then the light withdraws and emptiness is revealed. As it is written, God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. James 4:6. This is the principle I never change. I do not reveal this for you to despise those who were once exalted, but for you to learn a profound lesson. Do not let your heart cling to appearances. Do not think righteousness is measured by ladders of power or by the approval of the crowd. I care nothing for the number of voices cheering nor the splendor of ceremonies. I look straight into the heart. I see through every hidden thought, every buried motive. When I find a pure heart, though small and unknown, I will set my presence there and cause it to shine in the midst of the night. Therefore, you must learn to turn inward, to examine your soul, rather than fastening your eyes to the events outside. My child, remember the history of my people. There were those who once believed they held the throne securely, yet in a moment everything was taken away. There were leaders who thought their position would protect them, but judgment came like a whirlwind. I allowed such things to happen as a reminder. Cursed is the one who trusts in man, who draws strength from mere flesh. Jeremiah 1:7-5. No true blessing belongs only to the one who trusts in me, the Eternal One. This remains true even today, and I want you to engrave it upon your heart. Do not build your life upon temporary foundations, but upon my word, which is the solid rock. The shaking of today is also a preparation. I am making the way for a new season. What was once considered immovable will continue to be shaken, and many hidden things will continue to be revealed. This is not bad news, but good news for those who truly hunger for me. For only when coverings are stripped away can people see the truth. Only when false walls collapse can light break through. Rejoice then that I am doing cleansing work, even though it brings much upheaval. Just as the silversmith places silver into the fire to remove impurities, so I am allowing the world to pass through the fire of testing that what remains may be pure. And my child, do not think that you are outside of this process. No, I am shaking you as well. What you see happening in vast systems outside is but a reflection of what I desire to do within your heart. I want to cleanse every corner, to expose what you have hidden, to remove the habits that have become chains. This is how I prepare you to stand firm in the days to come. If you only observe without changing, you miss the true purpose of the sign. I do not merely want you to see. I want you to become part of this transformation. Do not fear the collapse of old symbols. See it instead as an invitation to step into deeper truth. Do not be unsettled when you hear of controversies or scandals. Know that it is only dust being brushed away so the mirror may shine. And you, if you remain faithful, will reflect my glory in the midst of the turmoil. As the Apostle Paul once wrote, "But we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this all-surpassing power is from God and not from us." 2 Corinthians 4:7. You are that earthen vessel I long to use, if only you are willing to be filled with the treasure of the Spirit. I am teaching you a steadfast truth. Never confuse human authority with eternal power. Do not mistake solemn rituals for my true presence. Discern, recognize, and choose. For a new season is opening, and only those who cling to me will be able to step into it fully. This is not the time to remain a spectator, but to prepare your heart to purify yourself and to become a bearer of fire. I am calling you not to let your heart be divided, not to walk one step in the light and one step in the dark. Decide that you will belong wholly to me. For what is coming will demand complete consecration. My beloved child, you have seen that the thrones of men can be overturned, titles can be stripped away, and outward splendor cannot last. But what is more important is that you discern the purpose behind these upheavals. They are not merely events to be remembered, but warnings sent to all humanity. I am using these very shifts as a mirror, so that each one may look within and ask, "In whom is my trust? Upon what do I rely?" This is the moment to answer such questions honestly, not with lips alone, but with your whole life. My child, recall what happened with Israel when they demanded a king, desiring to be like the nations around them. I gave them Saul, who stood tall and impressive among the people, but his heart was not steadfast in me. For a season he led, but pride carried him away from my ways. The throne remained, but the anointing departed. I did this to show that it is not appearance or position that determines my choice, but the heart. So it is today. Many still hold titles yet. My presence is no longer with them. And this is a warning for every generation. Not all who are honored on earth are recognized in heaven. I do not recount history for you to gaze upon the failures of others, but so that you might examine yourself. Are you building your life on human approval or upon my anointing? Are you seeking your own glory or living so that my name is exalted? For therein lies the difference. If you live for the crowd, you will soon be disappointed, for the crowd is fickle. Today they cheer, tomorrow they turn away. But if you live for me, my faithfulness will be your fortress that never crumbles. As it is written in Psalm 1188, it is better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in man. This principle is never outdated, and I want it engraved deep within you. My child, I am shaking all things to prepare the way for restoration. The old structures will collapse not to bring despair, but to open the path for the new. Just as when Jesus entered the temple and overturned the tables of the money changers, he did not do this to destroy the house of God, but to restore its purity. So the shaking of today is not to ruin my church, but to refine my bride, that she may be pure and ready to welcome my glory. Understand this: when the tables are overturned, when the smoke of false incense fades away, that is when true worship is restored. Do not mourn the loss of the old, but rejoice that the new is coming. You were not chosen only to observe, but to participate in this process. I have called you to be a sign in your generation, a torch in the night, a voice of truth amid compromise. This does not mean you will escape hardship. On the contrary, you will face opposition, for light is always hated by darkness. But do not be afraid, for I am with you. My power will be made perfect in your weakness. When you say yes to me, I will put my word in your mouth like fire to burn away what is false and to ignite the truth. Prepare your heart. The days to come will bring greater shaking, more exposure, more thrones overturned. But do not tremble, for these things must take place. They are signs that I am near, that the great harvest is about to be revealed. Those who trust in me will not be caught unaware. They will stand firm in the storm. They will sing the song of victory in the midnight hour. And you, if you remain faithful, will be among them. You will not only hear of revival, but you will see it with your eyes, touch it with your hands, and experience it deep within your soul. Let your heart be set on the eternal. Do not let your eyes cling to the thrones of men, but lift them toward the heavenly throne. Do not let your heart be captivated by rituals, but long for the living presence. Do not anchor your faith in people who change so easily, but fasten it in me, the one who never changes. For only I am the source of strength, the refuge, the truth, and the life everlasting. My beloved child, after you have witnessed the upheavals in places of power and heard my word concerning the limits of humankind, now I want to take you one step further. Look at what I am doing not only on the surface of history, but in the very realm of the Spirit. For those events are but the visible part, while the deeper reality is the movement of the heavenly realm that the natural eye cannot perceive. I do not want you to stop at outward observation, but to learn how to discern the working of the Spirit within every occurrence. When the earth trembles, it is a sign that heaven is moving. When earthly thrones are shaken, that is the very moment my kingdom draws near. My child, the scripture has said, "Once more I will shake not only the earth but also the heavens." Hebrews 1:2-6. This word was not only for a time long past, but it still resounds today. What you are witnessing is the fulfillment of that word. I am shaking in order to remove what is unstable, so that only what belongs to eternity may remain. Do you understand? This shaking is not meant for destruction, but for distinction. It separates light from darkness, truth from falsehood, purity from defilement. What is built on human foundations will collapse, but what is placed upon my rock will stand forever. What I want to teach you is to see every upheaval with eyes of spiritual discernment. When others panic, you must remain at peace. When crowds are confused, you must be steadfast. For you know that behind all the turmoil is my hand preparing the way. Like a farmer who tills the soil before sowing, I too am tilling this world so that a great harvest may come. The dry ground must be broken up to receive new seeds. The stones that cover the soil must be removed so that light can shine through. And in this very process, you are called to be a seed that bears fruit even amid the field of chaos. My child, I see within you questions rising. Then what should I do when everything is shaken? How should I respond when the symbols I once admired collapse? I tell you, turn your heart toward me. Seek my presence in the secret place. Do not chase after the noise. Do not search for answers among the crowds, for the crowds themselves are wandering astray. Remain in me, for whoever abides in me will not be moved. As the vine is joined to the branch, only when you are firmly connected to me will you bear fruit. The Lord Jesus said, "Apart from me, you can do nothing." John 1:5-5. This is the truth you must engrave in your heart, for the days ahead will demand that you cling fully to me, not to any other foundation. My beloved, understand also that this shaking does not only happen within great structures, but within each individual soul. Every heart will be tested. Whatever is not genuine within you will be exposed. What you have hidden will be brought into the light. I do not do this to shame you, but to set you free. I desire you to be released from every chain of deceit, so that you may walk in complete truth. Like a potter shaping the clay, I am molding your life, sometimes through pressure, sometimes through pressing down, but always with the purpose of creating a vessel precious in my hand. Do not fear the refining fire, for it is that very fire that makes you pure. Do not think that I have not heard your silent cries. I know you have grieved when those you respected have fallen. I have seen your confusion as the figures you once looked up to crumbled before your eyes. But I encourage you, let these things become the very reason you cling more tightly to me. Let your disappointment in man stir a deeper longing for the one who never breaks his promise. For I have never left you, nor will I ever forsake you. Though the earth may melt away, though mountains fall into the sea, I remain unshaken." End quote. My promises to you remain unchanged. Do not fix your gaze on the storm, but on the one who walks upon the sea. Do not hold on to temporary thrones, but take hold of the heavenly throne. Do not let your heart sway with what your eyes behold, but let it be anchored in my word. For this shaking is not the end, but the beginning of a new chapter. And you, if you remain faithful, will enter into that chapter as a witness, a part of the great work I am bringing forth. My child, I know your heart still holds many questions. You wonder, why do I allow this turmoil to take place? Why do I let those who once sat on high seats be removed, and the structures that seemed immovable be shaken? My child, understand that what you see is not an uncontrolled disorder, but part of my greater plan. I am the one who has woven history, and every detail lies in my hand. All that is happening today is preparation for what is to come, and in this shaking I am making way for a new season. Do not fear, for I am not working to destroy, but to purify and restore. Do you remember Israel in the wilderness? They had to journey 40 years before entering the promised land, not because I was powerless, but because I wanted to cleanse Egypt's residue from their hearts. Likewise, today I allow shaking so that falsehood may be removed, and those who truly hunger for me may be revealed. People often want to cling to what is familiar, even when it has become a burden. But I, in my wisdom, will not let them remain forever in what is old and decayed. I break down what no longer serves to prepare for what is better and new. Remember the word of Scripture, "Behold, I am making all things new." Revelation 2:1-5. You must view every upheaval in this light in order to understand its true meaning. My child, when you see empty thrones, do not only perceive the absence, but recognize the invitation I am giving you. I am calling forth men and women who do not live for reputation but for my presence. I am seeking faithful hearts, steadfast spirits, to establish a new community, not built upon human power, but founded on reverence and true love. Those earthly thrones may tremble, but my throne never changes. My kingdom is not built of stone or wood, but of souls that know humility. And you too are called to be part of that community. I want you to understand that the exposure taking place is not to shame those who have fallen, but to warn an entire generation that hypocrisy cannot endure. When what is hidden is torn away, it becomes an opportunity for all to return to truth. I am giving a chance, but it is also a test who will choose to walk in the light and who will continue to hide in darkness. This is the hour of decision, and you must choose your side. You cannot remain in the middle, for neutrality is compromise. As Joshua once declared to the people, "Choose this day whom you will serve." Joshua 2:4-15. That call still resounds today, and I am setting it before you. Do not think I am seeking perfect people. No, I am seeking willing hearts. I know your weakness. I know how easily you stumble, yet it is in that very weakness that my power is made perfect. As Paul testified, my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 1:2-9. What I desire of you is not perfection, but surrender. If you are willing to say, "Yes, I will transform you," I will use you as an instrument of light in this dark time. I will put my words in your mouth. I will ignite the fire of the Holy Spirit within your heart, and you will become a witness of my glory amid a generation full of chaos. What is collapsing today is not an ending, but the beginning of a season of refinement. I am cleansing the field to sow new seed. I am removing stones to prepare for the flow of living waters. Every shaking you witness is but a prelude to a greater restoration. And in this process I am not only concerned with great structures, but also with each soul. Every person must face the choice, and so must you. Are you willing for me to work with you before I work through you? Are you willing to let me tear down the walls you have built so that I may rebuild them after my pattern? This is a question only you can answer. My child, when the world is in turmoil, chooses stillness before me. When many argue, choose to listen to the whisper of the Spirit. When the crowd wavers, stand firm upon my promise, for I have never abandoned those who seek me with all their heart. As my promise in Jeremiah 2:9-13 declares, "You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart." This is the key to standing firm in times of shaking. Not human strength, not knowledge, but the wholehearted seeking of me, undivided, uncompromising. My child, I want you to know that what is happening is not merely a change in one season, but part of the greater plan I have ordained from the beginning. Human history has seen the rise and fall of empires, the ascent and decline of kings, and even the exposure of what was hidden beneath a cloak of holiness. Yet through it all, one truth remains: every earthly kingdom will pass away, but my kingdom endures forever. You must anchor your trust in this, for it is the only assurance that will keep you from being swept away in days of upheaval. I know at times you are troubled when you see those once honored now exposed in weakness. You ask then, who is worthy for me to rely on? That very question is what I am sowing into your heart, for the only answer is no one except me. Remember, even those whom I have chosen and used for a season are still human, still limited, still in need of grace to stand. Trusting in man leads to disappointment, but trusting in me will never bring shame. As Psalm 146:3, the 5th of December lares, "Do not put your trust in princes, in mortal men who cannot save. When their spirit departs, they return to the ground. On that very day their plans come to nothing. Blessed is he whose help is the God of Jacob, whose hope is in the Lord his God." This is my reminder to you, so you may anchor your soul in the one who never changes. I also want you to see that the exposure you witness today is part of a purification. I do not seek destruction but refinement. Just as gold must pass through fire to shine brighter, so too must my church endure trials to be made pure. What is not from me will be taken away. What is built upon sand will fall until only what truly belongs to me remains. Do not be surprised when things you once thought unshakable now tremble, for that is evidence that I am at work. Silence would be more concerning, but when you see shaking, know that I am moving to prepare the way for restoration. Let this truth sink deep within. Judgment begins with the house of God. I do not desire deceit among my people, nor do I tolerate compromise. I love, but my love never compromises with darkness. When I expose myself, it is because I long for my people to return to their first purity. Do not see exposure as an end, but as an opportunity for repentance and renewal. It is precisely in the unveiling that great grace is poured out upon those who humble themselves. As the scripture promises, "If my people who are called by my name humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and I will forgive their sin and will heal their land." 2 Chronicles 7:1-4. This is my sure promise, and it is what you must hold on to in the days ahead. I also want you to understand that what I am doing is not only about great systems, but also about individual hearts. I am cleansing even the smallest hidden places. I am not only concerned with replacing those upon thrones, but also with transforming ordinary people who seek me. I see you. I know the hidden struggles within your heart, and I desire to use this shaking to set you free from invisible chains. I want you to enter true freedom, not freedom defined by man, but freedom in truth. For Jesus said, "You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." John 8:32. That truth is what I am pouring into your heart through the upheavals of today. My child, remember that the shaking is not meant to frighten you, but to prepare you for a greater mission. I want you to become a witness in this generation. When others are confused, you will be the voice of peace. When the crowd is unsettled, you will be the torch that shows the way. When many collapse in disappointment, you will be the testimony that faith in me is a firm foundation. I did not choose you because you are perfect, but because you are willing. And it is that willingness that will make the difference. Do not look down on yourself, for I can use what is small to accomplish what is great. I used a shepherd boy to strike down a giant. I used a widow with a handful of flour to prove my provision. And today, I can also use you to fulfill my eternal plan. Do not run after the noise. Do not let yourself be swept away by the current of the crowd. Remain in me, seek me in the secret place, and let me work within you. When you surrender, you will see that the shaking is no longer a threat but an opportunity. An opportunity for you to be transformed, to be equipped, and to become a living sign for this generation. This is the time of preparation, and you are invited to step into it. My beloved child, after I have shown you that every shaking is part of my divine plan, now I want to open to you a greater vision. You are not called merely to stand as a spectator before the stage of history. You are called to be part of the story I am writing, so that your life may be a testimony of my power and my faithfulness. You must understand that what is happening in the centers of power is only a projection, but what I truly seek are hearts that will respond to my call. And you, my child, have been chosen for such a time as this. Every time I shake the world, I prepare a remnant, those who do not bow to false gods, those who keep their loyalty in dark times. They are not necessarily people of high status or great learning, but they are those who know how to hear my voice and are willing to obey. In the days of Elijah, when he thought he was alone in his battle against hundreds of false prophets, I told him that there were still 7,000 who had not bowed to Baal. 1 Kings 1:9-18. This shows that even when the situation looks hopeless, I always preserve a faithful remnant so that my plan continues. Today it is the same. In the midst of chaos, I am calling forth a remnant, and you are invited to stand among them. You must understand that being part of the remnant is not a privilege for pride, but a sacred responsibility. It requires you to live differently, to dare to walk against the current of the world. While many choose safety, you are called to obedience. While the crowd chooses compromise, you are called to keep your heart pure. This is not easy, for it means letting go, sacrificing, even facing loneliness. But remember, I never let you walk alone. When you courageously choose truth, my Spirit will be your strength, giving you wisdom and boldness to stand firm. As the Apostle Paul wrote, "If God is for us, who can be against us?" Romans 8:3-1. This is the firm assurance that you need not fear the pressure. This calling also means you must prepare your heart for the days to come. I have not called you to live half-heartedly, nor invited you only in times of convenience. I call you to total devotion, for what lies ahead will require faith more steadfast than ever. You must learn to place me above all else, above safety, above comfort, even above personal dreams. For if your heart is divided, you will not be able to stand when the storm comes. Remember the words of Jesus, "No one can serve two masters." Matthew 6:2-4. This is the moment for you to decide clearly. Either you belong to me fully, or you will be swept away by the current of the world. Do not think this decision affects only you. When you choose to walk in obedience, you not only change your own life, but also influence many around you. I want to use your life as a lighthouse to guide wandering souls. The light you carry does not come from yourself, but from my presence within you, and that light will shine in the darkness, showing the way to those seeking truth. As Jesus said, "You are the light of the world," Matthew 5:1-4. Do you see? This is the mission I appointed for you, not to blend in, but to stand out, not to remain silent, but to become a voice. Prepare yourself as an instrument, ready in my hand. Allow me to shape, refine, and fill you with my spirit. Let the external shakings remind you that you must stand firmer than ever within. Do not fear exposure, but rejoice, for it is a sign that I am drawing near. Remember that every shaking is only the prelude to restoration. And you, if you remain faithful, will see my glory revealed in a measure that past generations have never witnessed. This is your moment. This is an invitation you cannot afford to miss. Step in and say yes to me, for I have prepared you for this hour even before your first cry on earth, my beloved child. I want you to know that being part of the remnant is not an easy journey. It is not a path strewn with roses nor guaranteed by instant glory. On the contrary, it is a journey of testing, of steps taken with tears but also filled with divine glory. You must understand that it is steadfastness in trials that reveals the true worth of one chosen by me. For faith is not proven in days of peace, but in moments of storm. As the Apostle Peter wrote, "So that the tested genuineness of your faith, more precious than gold that perishes, though it is tested by fire, may be found to result in praise and glory and honor at the revelation of Jesus Christ." 1 Peter 1:7. Do you see? It is precisely these trials that will cause your faith to shine. My child, I know your heart has trembled when faced with sudden changes. You have wondered whether you have the strength to stand firm. But do not forget, you are not called to rely on your own strength. I have placed my Spirit within you, and He is the one who empowers you to overcome. He will lift you when you stumble, comfort you when you are weary, and give you strength to move forward. When you think you cannot go on, that is when my power is made perfect. Remember what Paul said, "I can do all things through Him who gives me strength." Philippians 4:1-3. Believe this, for it is also my promise to you. My child, remember that the shaking is not meant to frighten you, but to prepare you for a greater mission. I want you to become a witness in this generation. When others are confused, you will be the voice of peace. When the crowd is unsettled, you will be the torch that shows the way. When many collapse in disappointment, you will be the testimony that faith in me is a firm foundation. I did not choose you because you are perfect, but because you are willing. And it is that willingness that will make the difference. Do not look down on yourself, for I can use what is small to accomplish what is great. I used a shepherd boy to strike down a giant. I used a widow with a handful of flour to prove my provision. And today I can also use you to fulfill my eternal plan. Do not run after the noise. Do not let yourself be swept away by the current of the crowd. Remain in me. Seek me in the secret place and let me work within you. When you surrender, you will see that the shaking is no longer a threat, but an opportunity. An opportunity for you to be transformed, to be equipped, and to become a living sign for this generation. This is the time of preparation, and you are invited to step into it. My beloved child, after I have shown you that every shaking is part of my divine plan, now I want to open to you a greater vision. You are not called merely to stand as a spectator before the stage of history. You are called to be part of the story I am writing, so that your life may be a testimony of my power and my faithfulness. You must understand that what is happening in the centers of power is only a projection, but what I truly seek are hearts that will respond to my call, and you, my child, have been chosen for such a time as this. Every time I shake the world, I prepare a remnant, those who do not bow to false gods, those who keep their loyalty in dark times. They are not necessarily people of high status or great learning, but they are those who know how to hear my voice and are willing to obey. In the days of Elijah, when he thought he was alone in his battle against hundreds of false prophets, I told him that there were still 7,000 who had not bowed to Baal. 1 Kings 1:9-1:8. This shows that even when the situation looks hopeless, I always preserve a faithful remnant so that my plan continues. Today it is the same. In the midst of chaos, I am calling forth a remnant, and you are invited to stand among them. You must understand that being part of the remnant is not a privilege for pride, but a sacred responsibility. It requires you to live differently, to dare to walk against the current of the world. While many choose safety, you are called to obedience. While the crowd chooses compromise, you are called to keep your heart pure. This is not easy, for it means letting go, sacrificing, even facing loneliness. But remember, I never let you walk alone. When you courageously choose truth, my Spirit will be your strength, giving you wisdom and boldness to stand firm. As the Apostle Paul wrote, "If God is for us, who can be against us?" Romans 8:3-1. This is the firm assurance that you need not fear the pressure. This calling also means you must prepare your heart for the days to come. I have not called you to live half-heartedly, nor invited you only in times of convenience. I call you to total devotion, for what lies ahead will require faith more steadfast than ever. You must learn to place me above all else, above safety, above comfort, even above personal dreams. For if your heart is divided, you will not be able to stand when the storm comes. Remember the words of Jesus. No one can serve two masters. Matthew 6:2-4. This is the moment for you to decide clearly. Either you belong to me fully, or you will be swept away by the current of the world. Do not think this decision affects only you. When you choose to walk in obedience, you not only change your own life, but also influence many around you. I want to use your life as a lighthouse to guide wandering souls. The light you carry does not come from yourself, but from my presence within you. And that light will shine in the darkness, showing the way to those seeking truth. As Jesus said, "You are the light of the world," Matthew 5:1-4. Do you see? This is the mission I appointed for you, not to blend in, but to stand out. Not to remain silent, but to become a voice. Prepare yourself as an instrument ready in my hand. Allow me to shape, refine, and fill you with my Spirit. Let the external shakings remind you that you must stand firmer than ever within. Do not fear exposure, but rejoice, for it is a sign that I am drawing near. Remember that every shaking is only the prelude to restoration. And you, if you remain faithful, will see my glory revealed in a measure that past generations have never witnessed. This is your moment. This is an invitation you cannot afford to miss. Step in and say yes to me, for I have prepared you for this hour, even before your first cry on earth. My beloved child, I want you to know that being part of the remnant is not an easy journey. It is not a path strewn with roses nor guaranteed by instant glory. On the contrary, it is a journey of testing, of steps taken with tears, but also filled with divine glory. You must understand that it is steadfastness in trials that reveals the true worth of one chosen by me. For faith is not proven in days of peace, but in moments of storm. As the Apostle Peter wrote, "So that the tested genuineness of your faith, more precious than gold that perishes, though it is tested by fire, may be found to result in praise and glory and honor at the revelation of Jesus Christ." 1 Peter 1:7. Do you see? It is precisely these trials that will cause your faith to shine. My child, I know your heart has trembled when faced with sudden changes. You have wondered whether you have the strength to stand firm. But do not forget, you are not called to rely on your own strength. I have placed my Spirit within you, and He is the one who empowers you to overcome. He will lift you when you stumble, comfort you when you are weary, and give you strength to move forward. When you think you cannot go on, that is when my power is made perfect. Remember what Paul said, "I can do all things through Him who gives me strength." Philippians 4:1-3. Believe this, for it is also my promise to you. Here is the English translation of your text, kept faithful and flowing with the solemn spiritual tone arranged into full paragraphs without breaking them into smaller fragments. Imagine your life as a flame. That flame is not meant to be kept only for yourself, but to be spread. A single candle can light up an entire room, and when many candles are lit, the whole city will shine brightly. I want to use you to ignite such a flame that will burn within the hearts of many others. Do not think that your devotion only affects a small and narrow circle. You cannot know how many lives will be touched through one faithful act, one word of encouragement, or one life lived in dedication. I declare to you, keep shining, and I will see to it that the flame spreads to the places where it is needed. My child, when you become a sign, I, myself, will protect and shelter you. Even if you are in the midst of the storm, you will not be swept away, for I will place an invisible hedge of protection around you. As Psalm 91 has promised, whoever dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. This is the covering in which you can take refuge. Walk boldly, for you are not alone. Every step you take is surrounded by my angels. Every word you speak is backed by my Spirit. You only need to remain faithful, and I will take care of the rest. I want you to understand that becoming a sign is not the ultimate purpose, but a part of a greater plan. You are called to contribute to the restoration that I am carrying out. The whole world is in transition, and you are invited to stand in the midst of this shaking and proclaim the truth. You will be a witness to this generation that even though humankind may fail, I remain faithful. Even though earthly thrones collapse, my throne endures forever. Even though everything around you changes, my love and my promises never change. You will be a living testimony of this truth, and through you many will turn back to me and find hope in the midst of darkness. Therefore, receive this calling with joy. Do not see it as a burden, but as a privilege. For you are called not merely to live for yourself, but to become part of the eternal plan of the Creator. Say yes to me, and I will take you on a journey far beyond what you have ever imagined. This is not the time to hesitate, but the time to rise to shine, to become a witness of truth in a world full of lies. Take courage, for I, the Lord your God, am with you in every step you take. My beloved, after I have shown you that you are called to be a sign in this generation, I now want to reveal to you a deeper truth. This calling is not only for you, but is bound to the greater work I am accomplishing across the earth. You cannot separate yourself from the global picture, for every faithful individual plays a part in the grand design. That is why you must learn to see with a wider vision beyond the boundaries of self, family, or community, to behold that I am painting a masterpiece with the entirety of human history. And in that masterpiece you have been placed in a significant position. Remember, I never act by chance. When I shake nations, when I cause thrones to tremble, all of it has purpose. I am preparing the way for the great unveiling of my kingdom on earth. This is not merely political or religious change, but a profound spiritual shift. Just as when Israel was exiled into Babylon, they thought everything had ended. Yet in that very season I revealed great visions to Daniel, showing that the empires of men would rise and fall, but in the end the kingdom shall be given to the saints of the Most High, and his kingdom will be everlasting. Daniel 7:1-8. You see, I used what seemed like a tragic event to unveil my eternal plan. Even now, what is shaking around you is but the prelude to the triumphant song of my kingdom. My child, when you see earthly structures crumbling, do not stop at judgment. See the opportunity. This is the moment when I am selecting those who truly seek me. I do not look at the crowds who chase after appearances. I search for the souls who listen and are willing to obey, and you, my child, are called to be one of them. I want you not only to be an observer but a participant, not only a receiver but a giver. For the glory I am about to reveal is not for those who stand on the sidelines, but for those who dare to surrender their whole lives. As the Apostle Paul wrote, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is the good, acceptable, and perfect will of God." Romans 1:2-2. This is the posture I desire in you, not to follow the flow of the world, but to let me transform you from within, so that you may become an instrument of change. My beloved, I know that when you look at the greater picture, you may feel small like a speck of dust in the vast universe. But I say to you, no part is meaningless. Every detail has value. Every step you take contributes to the whole design. Do not despise the small acts of faithfulness, for I can use the little to bring forth great impact. A whispered prayer can shake the heavens. A humble act of love can alter the destiny of a person, and through that transform an entire lineage. I work beyond what your mind can fathom, and often you will not see the full result in the present. But I promise you, not a single act of faithfulness will ever be in vain. As it is written in 1 Corinthians 1:5-8, "Therefore, my beloved brethren, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that your labor in the Lord is not in vain." Here is the full English translation of your passage, carefully rendered to preserve the spiritual tone, flow, and depth of the original text. I've kept the scripture references in English as they naturally appear in most translations of the Bible, and ensured that the message reads as a unified whole rather than broken into fragments. My child, this is why I call you to walk with a broader vision. Do not only seek the safety of your own life, but let your heart beat in rhythm with the kingdom. Pray not only for your family, but for your nation. Long not only for personal blessing, but for global restoration. When you open your heart in such a way, you will find yourself drawn into the current of divine movement, where you do not live only for the present, but also for an eternal legacy. This is what makes the difference between one who lives for self and one who lives for me. The one who lives for self will quickly grow weary, but the one who lives for me will be renewed in strength, for they know they are contributing to what will never fade. See yourself as part of this great story. Do not shrink your life into short-term worries, but let it flow into the river of my kingdom. Do not fear the changes, but rejoice that they are signs that I am drawing near. Do not be anxious about your smallness, but believe that I, the Almighty God, will use even your smallness to accomplish great works. This is your appointed time, and I have ordained for you to rise, to step in, and to become part of the global restoration I am bringing forth. My beloved, I want to bring you to a higher understanding. When I shake the world, it is not only to expose what has rotted away, but also to invite humanity back to its source. My concern is not merely to tear down, but my greater purpose has always been to rebuild on a stronger foundation. What you see collapsing is only the false shell. The core I long to restore is the intimate fellowship between me and humankind, which has been forgotten amidst lifeless rituals and empty traditions. I want to return my people to the beginning, to the place where my voice resounded directly in their hearts, where my presence was their greatest joy and strength. Remember, my child, I did not create humanity so they could build ivory towers of religion for themselves. From the very beginning, I walked with Adam in the garden, spoke to him directly, and delighted in that closeness. That is the pattern I long to restore. The systems you see today with their complex layers often have become barriers that hinder people from meeting me rather than drawing them nearer. That is why when I shake, my purpose is not to destroy all things, but to clear away the obstacles so that people may come to me in simplicity and truth. As Jesus said, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God," Matthew 5:8. You see, the condition is not position or education, but a simple heart. My child, I want you to be part of this restoration. Do not wait for someone else to rise in your place, for I have placed within you a unique mission. The restoration I am bringing does not begin in grand cathedrals, but in humble hearts. It does not begin with magnificent rituals, but with sincere prayers. I am calling for those willing to lay everything down to seek my presence. When one humbles themselves, I listen. When a small group unites in prayer, I move. And when a generation dedicates itself to me, I will pour out a glory never before seen. Therefore, do not despise silent prayers, do not belittle faithful steps. From these very things a global awakening will be ignited. My beloved, I must also warn you that this restoration will not come easily. It will touch what people have long clung to it, will disrupt habits deeply rooted. Many will resist because they fear losing their power or their place. There will be voices of criticism because they do not want to leave their comfort zones, but do not be discouraged. This is not a sign of failure, but evidence that I am at work. When Jesus entered the temple and overturned the tables of the money changers, he faced fierce opposition. Yet that very act opened the way for true worship to be restored. Likewise, the resistance you see today is not a hindrance, but a sign that truth is being unveiled. My child, prepare yourself, for you too will experience this shaking. I will touch the things you once thought were secure. I will ask you to let go of habits and mindsets that no longer align with my purpose. Do not cling to them, for if you hold on to the old, you will miss the new. Trust that I only dismantle in order to rebuild, only take away in order to give something better. Just as the vine must be pruned to bear more fruit, so will I prune from your life what hinders growth. The process may be painful, but it is necessary that you become exceedingly fruitful. As Jesus said, I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever abides in me, and I in them, will bear much fruit. John 1:5. This is the aim of refinement. My beloved, rejoice that you are living in this time. Though there is turmoil, this is also the greatest opportunity to see my glory revealed. Many generations long to witness what you are about to see. And you, if you remain faithful, will not only observe but participate in this restoration. I want to use you as an instrument to encourage, to awaken, and to spread the flame to others. Your dedication will inspire. Your faithfulness will open the way for many to return. Remember, it is not great powers that will spark restoration, but small, faithful hearts willing to obey me. The restoration I am bringing is not confined to large institutions or prominent religious systems, but also within families, small communities, and the very hearts of individuals. What I care about most is not outward appearance, but inward transformation. A house may be beautifully decorated, but without a solid foundation, it will collapse in the storm. Likewise, a life may wear a cloak of holiness, but without presence, my true presence, when the time of exposure comes, all will vanish like ashes. That is why I am cleansing not only external structures, but also the hearts that need renewal. My child, look within yourself. The shaking around you is not only for you to observe, but for you to reflect upon as in a mirror. Are you building your faith on the rock or on the sand? Are you centering your life on reputation and outward works? Or do you truly hunger for intimacy with me? I do not want you merely to perform rituals devoid of the breath of my intimate's spirit. As the prophet Isaiah once declared, this people draw near to me with their mouth and honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. Isaiah 29:1-3. This is not only a word for an ancient nation, but a warning for today's generation. For it is all too easy you may attend every service, sing every song, recite every prayer, but if your heart is not truly turned toward me, then all of it is nothing more than empty form. True worship is not measured by outward grandeur, but by humility and sincerity of heart. A silent prayer that flows from a pure heart is more precious than thousands of eloquent words spoken to boast. A small act of love done in secret carries more value than public rituals devoid of love. I look into the depths where no one else can see, and it is there that I seek truth. This is why I am purifying to bring my people back to worship in spirit and in truth. As Jesus said to the Samaritan woman at the well, "The Father seeks those who worship him in spirit and in truth." John 4:2-3. This is the eternal standard, and no ritual can replace it. I know that letting go of old habits is not easy. You may feel secure in familiar traditions while I call you to step out of that comfort. But trust that I never take away to leave you empty. Each time I ask you to lay down an old pattern, it is so I may give you something new. Each stirring in your heart is to prepare you for a season of greater fruitfulness. Just as a farmer must break the soil for the seed to sprout, I am overturning weak foundations so new life may rise. Embrace this process with faith, for it is the stepping stone to being lifted into my glory. My child, what I desire from you is not instant perfection, but a heart willing for me to keep working. Open yourself to change, allow me to prune, and be ready to surrender. When you do, you will find that what you thought was loss is in fact freedom. What you believed was sacrifice will open new doors. I never ask to diminish you. Everything I ask you to lay down is for a greater blessing. Remember Abraham, who was willing to offer Isaac, and it was then that I revealed myself as Jehovah Jireh, the Lord who provides. Genesis 2:2-1-4. Likewise, when you are willing to give, I will reveal provision beyond what you could imagine. Therefore, let this restoration begin in your own heart. Do not only long for change in systems, but let it start within you. When your heart is purified and renewed, you will become a living part of the greater restoration I am bringing. Do not underestimate personal transformation, for it will resonate with thousands and millions of other souls, and together you will create a wave of holiness sweeping across the earth. This is the beginning of a great harvest, and I want you not only to witness it, but to partake in it. Open your heart, be ready, for the restoration I promised is nearer than ever. My beloved child, you are not only called to witness the restoration, but to become an instrument in my hand to bring it forth. Do not think this work belongs only to leaders or those in high positions. In my eyes, what I look for is not outward prestige, but a willing heart. History shows that I often use the most humble to accomplish the greatest. Those despised by the world I have lifted up to display my power. As the Apostle Paul wrote, God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong one. Corinthians 1:2-7. See, my standards are unlike those of man. I want you to know that you too are a vessel I have set apart for this great work. Even if you feel small, even if you think you have nothing to offer, it is precisely your smallness that allows my power to be revealed. When you place your life in my hands, I can use it like a seed that produces an abundant harvest. Do not look at your limitations, look at my limitless nature. I am the one who took 5 loaves and 2 fish from a boy to feed 5,000. In the same way, I can take your weakness, your littleness, and bring blessing to many. What I ask is only a willing heart that says yes. Becoming an instrument in my hand is not an easy path. It requires surrender, denial of self, and wholehearted love for me. You cannot cling to your own will and still expect to be used. You cannot live both for yourself and for the kingdom. You must choose: either I am above all, or you will be divided and lost. This is the hour I call you into full consecration. Not momentary zeal, but daily steadfastness. Not just giving what you are willing to part with, but all. Your thoughts, emotions, plans, and dreams. Let me direct them, for I know you more than you know yourself. My child, when you place your life in my hand, I will lead you on a journey full of the unexpected. There will be times I draw you into secret places to learn silence. Times I place you in trials to forge endurance. Times the path ahead seems unclear, but in that very uncertainty you will learn to trust me rather than lean on your own understanding. This is the training I give to every called one. Do not fear it, for it is not to destroy you, but to shape you into a sharp instrument. As the blacksmith places iron into fire and strikes it to form, so I will bring you through fire to shape you for my will. Remember that every instrument in my hand has its own purpose. None is alike, and in you I have placed a mission no one else can fulfill. Do not compare yourself to others, or think your worth is lesser, for each has a place in the larger design. One body has many members, and each is essential. If the eye believes it is less important than the hand, or the foot less necessary than the head, the body would not be whole. In the same way, you have a unique role in the spiritual body I am building. What matters is not how your position appears, but whether you faithfully fulfill what I entrust to you. So, do not hesitate when I call you out of your comfort zone. Do not be confused when I place you in new circumstances unfamiliar to you. Trust that I have already prepared you for it. I will never lay a burden heavier than you can bear, but with every trial I provide strength to overcome. Walk boldly, for I go before you and also with you. I am the one holding your hand, leading you through the dark valley into green pastures. And when you look back, you will see that every difficulty was a step closer to the purpose I ordained. My beloved child, knowing that when I call you to be an instrument in my hand, it is not only to transform your own life, but to impact those around you. I do not grant you transformation to keep it for yourself, but to make you a channel through which my comfort, encouragement, wisdom, and love may flow to others. A river cannot keep water for itself. It must flow out to nourish dry land. In the same way, you are transformed to become a channel so that through you, life may reach many. This is the essence of a spiritual instrument, not living for itself, but living to serve the greater purpose of the one who created it. True worship is not measured by outward grandeur, but by humility and the sincerity of the heart. A silent prayer springing from a pure spirit is worth more than 1,000 eloquent words spoken for display. A small act of love carried out in secret carries greater value than public rituals performed without love. I look into the depths, into the place where no one else can see, and it is there that I search for truth. This is why I am purifying to bring my people back to worship in spirit and in truth. As Jesus said to the Samaritan woman at the well, the Father is seeking those who will worship him in spirit and in truth, John 4:2-3. This is the eternal standard, and no ritual can replace it. I know that letting go of old habits is not easy. You may feel safe in familiar traditions while I call you out of that comfort zone, but trust that I never take anything away to leave you empty. Every time I ask you to lay aside an old practice, it is so that I may give you something new. Every time I stir your heart, it is to prepare you for a season of greater fruitfulness. Just as the farmer must break up the soil so the seed may sprout, I am also turning over weak foundations so that new life can rise. Receive this process with trust, for it is the very stepping stone to lift you into my glory. My child, what I look for in you is not instant perfection, but a heart willing for me to keep working. Open yourself to change, allow me to prune, be ready to surrender. When you do this, you will see that what you thought was loss is in truth deliverance. You will discover that what you believed was sacrifice is in fact the doorway to new opportunities. I never ask you to yield something in order to deprive you, but everything I invite you to lay down is for a greater blessing. Remember how Abraham was willing to offer Isaac, and in that very moment I revealed myself as Jehovah Jireh, the Lord who provides, Genesis 2:2-1-4. In the same way, when you are willing to surrender, I will reveal provision far beyond your imagination. Therefore, let the restoration process begin within your own heart. Do not only expect transformation in systems, but let it start with you. When your heart is purified, when your spirit is renewed, you become a living part of the greater restoration I am bringing forth. Do not underestimate personal transformation, for that very change will resonate with thousands, even millions of other souls, and together you will create a wave of holiness that covers the earth. This is the beginning of a great harvest, and I desire you not only to witness it, but to take part in it. Open your heart, be prepared, for the restoration I have promised is closer than ever. My beloved one, you are not only called to witness restoration, but to be an instrument in my hand to accomplish it. Do not think this work belongs only to leaders or those with status. In my eyes, what I seek is not outward prestige, but a willing heart. History has shown that I often use the most humble to carry out the greatest works. Those whom the world considers insignificant are the very ones I lift up to display my power. As the Apostle Paul wrote, God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong one, Corinthians 1:2-7. You see, my standard is utterly different from that of men. I want you to know that you too are an instrument destined for this great work. Even if you feel small, even if you believe you have nothing to offer, it is precisely that smallness that allows my power to be revealed. When you place your life in my hands, I can use it like a seed to bring forth an abundant harvest. Do not look at your limitations, look at my limitless nature. It was I who took 5 loaves and 2 fish from a boy and used them to feed 5,000. In the same way, I can take your weakness and your smallness and turn them into blessing for many. What I ask of you is simply a heart ready to say, yes. Becoming an instrument in my hand is not an easy path. It demands surrender, renunciation, and wholehearted love for me. You cannot cling to your own will and at the same time expect to be used by me. You cannot live both for yourself and for the kingdom. You must choose: either you place me above all else, or you will remain divided and lose direction. This is the time I am calling you into full consecration. Not momentary zeal, but daily faithfulness. Not giving me only the parts you are comfortable releasing, but all your thoughts, your emotions, your plans, and your dreams. Let me direct you, for I know you better than you know yourself. My child, when you place your life in my hands, I will lead you on a journey filled with surprises. There will be times when I bring you into hidden places to learn stillness. There will be times when I place you in trials to strengthen endurance. There will be moments when the path ahead seems unclear, but it is in that very uncertainty that you will learn to trust me more than your own understanding. This is the training I give to every child I call. Do not fear it, for it is not meant to break you down, but to shape you into a sharp instrument. Just as the blacksmith thrusts the iron into fire and strikes it to form, I will take you through the fire of testing to shape you according to my will. Remember that every instrument in my hand has a unique purpose. No one is the same, and within you I have placed a calling that no one else can replace. Do not compare yourself to others. Do not think your value is less, for each one has a vital place in the larger design. A body has many parts, and each one is essential. If the eye thinks it is less important than the hand, or the foot considers itself unnecessary compared to the head, the body would no longer be whole. In the same way, you have a distinct role in the spiritual body I am building. What matters is not how visible your position seems, but whether you are faithful to fulfill what I have entrusted to you. Therefore, do not hesitate when I call you out of your comfort zone. Do not be dismayed when I place you in unfamiliar situations. Believe that I have prepared you for it. I will never place a burden upon you beyond your strength, and with every challenge, I also provide the strength to overcome. Walk boldly, for I go before you, and I walk beside you. I am the one who holds your hand, guiding you through the dark valley to green pastures. And when you look back, you will see that every difficulty was only a step drawing you closer to the purpose I ordained. My beloved child, I want you to understand that when I call you to be an instrument in my hand, it is not only to transform your own life, but also to impact the world around you. I do not grant you renewal for you to keep it to yourself, but so you may become a channel through which it flows to others. A river cannot keep its water for itself. It must flow out to nourish dry lands. In the same way, you are transformed to become a vessel through which comfort, encouragement, wisdom, and love from me may reach many. This is the very essence of a spiritual instrument, not living for itself, but living to serve the greater purpose of the one who fashioned it. Here's the English translation of your text, kept in flowing paragraphs, with a tone that matches the spiritual and devotional style of the original. Remember that my son Jesus said, "Freely you have received, freely give." Matthew 1:08. What you have received from me, whether forgiveness, healing, or revelation, was never meant to be hidden, but to be given away. When you dare to give, you will see that my supply never runs dry. Just as the 5 loaves and 2 fish became a miracle only when they were offered, so what you have will also be multiplied when you are willing to share. Do not fear lack, for I am the inexhaustible source. My wisdom, strength, and grace will always flow upon you, so long as you do not keep them to yourself. When I use you to touch others, you will discover that true transformation does not come through eloquent words, but through the very life you live. A life transformed by my presence is more powerful than any sermon. People may argue with theories, but they cannot deny a life that has been changed. When they see your steadfastness in adversity, they will recognize my strength. When they see your love extended to those who are difficult to love, they will understand that it is not from your own power. When they see you remain in peace amid storms, they will know that a supernatural force is at work within you. This is the most powerful testimony I desire you to bring to the world. I want you to understand that becoming a source of influence does not always mean performing great deeds. Sometimes, a single word of hope, a sincere embrace, or a gesture of care is enough to change someone's entire day. Do not underestimate the small acts, for it is often these that leave lasting impact. Like the mustard seed, though the smallest of all seeds, yet when it grows, it becomes a great tree in which the birds of the air find shelter. Matthew 1:33-132. I want you to sow such mustard seeds in your daily life so that they may grow into shade for many weary souls. Always remain watchful, for the opportunities to be a blessing often arrive in unexpected moments. A stranger may need a listening ear. A friend may need a word of comfort. A family may need a helping hand. All of these can be chances for you to reveal my love. Do not think you must wait for some grand assignment before beginning. Each day, every circumstance is an opportunity to glorify my name. Live with the awareness that wherever you go, you carry my presence with you. That very awareness will transform the atmosphere you enter. A room can be filled with hope simply because you are there, with a heart overflowing with my spirit. Be alert. When you begin to become a source of influence, subtle temptations will come to steal humility from your heart. The enemy will try to make you believe that this influence comes from your own talent or effort. But remember, apart from me, you can do nothing. Everything you have is from me. When you guard humility, your influence will endure. But if you allow pride to creep in, life will be drained away. Always keep in mind that you are only the vessel while I am the living water. What I seek in you is not self-display, but a heart of gratitude and faithfulness. Your life is the channel of my presence. Walk in love so that every step you take leaves behind encouragement. Open your mouth to speak the truth in love, so that every word you speak brings healing. Stretch out your hands so that every action becomes a testimony of my kindness. When you live this way, you will become an indispensable part of the restoration I am bringing forth. and you will discover that true joy is not found in receiving for yourself, but in being an instrument through which blessings flow to many. My beloved child, I want you to know that once you become an instrument in my hand and allow the stream of life to flow through you, the journey does not end there. This is only the beginning of a deeper process where I will shape you to carry enduring influence in a world full of turbulence. True influence does not arise from display, but from perseverance in the midst of trials. It is not measured by the applause of people or the recognition of crowds, but by the sincerity of your heart and your faithfulness before me. I want you to step into this kind of influence, one built upon the rock, unshakable by anything. I know that many times you have thought, how can my small life possibly change the world? But look at the seed. It is so tiny that it seems meaningless, yet within it lies the potential for an entire forest. In the same way, I have placed within you the seed of the kingdom, the seed that carries the power to multiply and spread far beyond what you can imagine. When you sow that seed through acts of love, through words of encouragement, through steadfastness in faith, it will grow and bear fruit not only for you, but also for generations to come. As Scripture says, let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not lose heart. Galatians 6:9. Believe that your faithfulness today is laying the foundation for tomorrow's harvest. Do not forget, lasting influence is not always seen immediately. Some seeds must remain hidden in the soil for a long time before they break forth. Some words you sow into the hearts of others may seem forgotten, yet one day they will spring to life at the appointed time I have set. Do not be discouraged when you do not yet see the results. Your task is to sow, and the work of making the seed grow belongs to me. Be patient, for patience is the foundation of enduring impact. I hold time in my hands, and everything will blossom in its season. I want you to be cautious, because as your influence begins to spread, temptation will increase. The enemy will try to make you believe that the strength comes from yourself. It will whisper that you deserve the praise, that you should keep the glory for yourself. But my child, remember that glory belongs to me alone. If you keep it for yourself, you will lose it. But if you return it to me, I will continue to fill you and multiply your influence. Always walk in humility, for humility is the key that keeps you lifted up by my hand. As the Scripture declares, God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. James 4:6. When you dwell in humility, you will become a river that never runs dry. True influence is not only revealed in your moments of strength, but also in the way you handle weakness. When you fall yet rise again, that itself is a powerful testimony. When you face hardship yet cling to me, that inspires others more than you know. The world does not need to see perfect people. They need to see hearts surrendered and transformed by me each day. Do not fear your weakness, for in it my power is made manifest. As Paul once declared, when I am weak, then I am strong. 2 Corinthians 1:2-1:0. This is what I want you to remember, so that you never think weakness makes you useless. On the contrary, weakness transformed by me becomes a living testimony. When you live as my instrument, what you sow will not only shape the present, but also the future. A single sincere prayer today can open doors for the next generation. One act of faithfulness can become the foundation for many souls to be saved. You cannot see the full extent of its impact, but trust that everything you do in me leaves a mark on eternity. And when you stand before me, you will see a multitude giving thanks because they received life through your life. That will be your greatest reward, not silver, gold, or earthly honor, but the redeemed souls who came into my kingdom through your faithfulness. Therefore, let me direct every step you take. Let me use you in the way I desire. Do not seek recognition from men, but find your joy in my pleasure. Do not measure success by numbers or by the applause of others, but by faithfulness in the smallest things. For in the end, what I seek is not outward splendor, but a heart wholly mine. And if you remain steadfast in that faithfulness, you will not merely be an instrument, but a lasting sign, a living testimony of my unchanging love and power. My beloved, the shaking you are witnessing is not merely to destroy, but to prepare the way for a spiritual harvest unlike any before. I am not stirring the nations only to abandon them in ruin. My purpose is always to bring forth new life to usher in the abundant harvest I promised long ago. You must understand that what I am doing is not only a work of cleansing, but also of multiplying. When the old is uprooted, the ground is cleared, so that new seeds may sprout. This is the process I ordained from the beginning. Unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it produces much fruit. John 1:2-4. The death of the old always opens the door for the life of the new. My child, you are part of this harvest. I do not want you only to witness it, but to participate in it. I want you to be a faithful sower, so that when the season of reaping comes, you will rejoice as you gather in sheaves. But remember, sowing and reaping always require patience. The farmer cannot expect results immediately after planting. He must wait for the rains, for the sunshine, and for time. In the same way, you must remain steadfast, even when change does not appear right away. I want to teach you the lesson of patience and faithfulness, because these are the very qualities that will keep you standing firm when the harvest arrives. Do not grow weary in doing good, for I have promised that in due season you will reap. I know that many times you feel that what you do is small and insignificant, but I declare that no act done in me is ever in vain. One prayer can open the gates of heaven. One tear can become the seed of joy. One hidden act of love can alter the destiny of a soul. Do not measure results by the standards of the world. Trust that I am using every detail of your life to weave a greater tapestry. And one day when you look back, you will see that nothing was wasted. Every drop of sweat, every sacrifice, every whispered plea contributed to the great harvest I am preparing. My child, this harvest will not be like those before. It will not only be the return of lost souls, but also the revelation of my glory across the earth. I am raising up a new generation, a generation that does not live by empty tradition, but by my living presence. They will not be driven by power or recognition, but guided by the Spirit. They will be a generation of courage who fear me more than men who choose truth over compromise. And you, my child, are called to be part of this generation, or at least to prepare and encourage them to rise. Look around, and you will see the signs. Many young people are longing for what is real, even if they cannot yet name it. Many are leaving behind empty forms because they no longer satisfy the hunger of their souls. They are searching for something living, and I am the very one they seek. I want to use you to show them who I am. Do not think you must have all the answers. You only need to lead them to me, to live faithfully as a reflection of my presence, and they will come to know me. I myself will do the rest, for I am the one who draws souls to myself. My child, in order to take part in this harvest, you must prepare yourself. The harvest is not for the lazy or the half-hearted. It requires strength, perseverance, and above all, a devoted heart. I did not call you to stand on the sidelines merely watching, but to step in, to sweat, and to labor together with me. Yet do not fear, for you will not work alone. My Spirit will empower you, my angels will assist you, and my grace will sustain you. All I ask from you is your willingness. When you say yes, I will open doors, provide opportunities, and place you in the right place at the right time to be a useful instrument. Prepare your heart as the farmer prepares for the harvest. Nurture your faith. Keep the flame of prayer alive and discipline yourself in faithfulness. Do not fall asleep when the fields are already golden and ripe. This is a season of watchfulness, of boldness, and of surrender. Step in, for the harvest I promised is near, and I do not want you to remain a distant spectator, but to be one of the faithful reapers in my field. My beloved, I want you to understand that the harvest I am preparing is not merely the result of short-term effort, but the fruit of a long process built upon generations of tears and prayers. You are invited into this harvest, not as one who arrives too late, but as one who continues the labor laid down by those who came before you. Remember the words of Jesus to his disciples, "One sows and another reaps," John 4:3-7. You see, many have faithfully sown in silence, and now I give you the honor of reaping. This is both a privilege and a responsibility. I want you to receive it with gratitude and humility, for it all comes from my grace. My child, prepare yourself, for this harvest will not unfold in the way you once imagined. It will not simply be about crowded halls or noisy events. The true harvest will happen in intimate conversations, in simple moments where hearts are touched by my love. It may begin with a small word spoken, a kind gesture, or a hidden act of sacrifice. Do not underestimate these things, for it is within simplicity that my power is revealed. Just as a seed germinates in silence, my work often begins in places overlooked by many. Therefore, be sensitive to recognize opportunities, instead of waiting only for grand and obvious moments. I must also warn you, as the harvest draws near, the enemy will not sit idly by. He will seek to sow weeds among the wheat, as in the parable Jesus told Matthew 1:3-4:30. He will attempt to burden you with secondary matters, causing you to miss the essential. He will whisper doubts about the value of your labor, or discourage you when results are not immediate. But do not fear. I have given you discernment to know the true from the false. I have also given you strength to stand against every temptation. As long as your eyes remain fixed on me, no weed can ruin the harvest I have promised. Remember, my child, this harvest is not only about the number of souls returning, but about the depth of transformation. I do not seek a shallow crowd. I seek hearts truly renewed. I long to see men and women who not only proclaim my name with their lips, but live daily in my presence. This is the difference between a field that is only green on the surface and a field truly filled with golden grain. You are called not only to count numbers, but to care for, nurture, and walk with those souls until they grow into maturity and faith. This is patient work, but it is also the labor that brings the greatest reward. I know there will be times when you feel weary. That weariness is not from laziness, but because the harvest requires strength. Yet do not forget that I am your source of renewal. As the prophet Isaiah declared, "Those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." Isaiah 40:3-1. You see, your strength does not come from outward rest, but from waiting upon me. As you learn to seek me each day, you will find your strength renewed, your joy rekindled, and your passion set aflame again. This is the secret to standing firm in the harvest, not striving in your own power, but remaining connected to the inexhaustible source of life in me. Now, my child, prepare your heart for surprises. The harvest will bring joy, but it will also reveal challenges. There will be some into whose hearts you sow seeds, yet they will not receive them immediately. There will be some you reap, yet they will require much care lest they fall back. This is not a reason to lose heart, but a reminder that this work cannot be accomplished by human effort alone. It requires the guidance and strength of the Spirit. You are but a co-laborer, while I am the one who causes all things to grow. When you realize this, you will not carry burdens too heavy for you, but will learn to entrust all things back to me in prayer. My beloved child, when I have brought you to this stage, I want you to understand that all the shaking, the cleansing, and the preparation I have spoken to you about are directed toward one single purpose: preparing for the unveiling of my glory across the earth. This is not an abstract concept, but a reality that will be revealed in history, and you will be a witness. You were not chosen only to hear, but to see, to participate, and to contribute. My child, this is a serious hour, and every decision you make today will affect your eternal legacy. That is why I am calling you to live with an awakened heart, so that you will not miss the opportunities I am opening before you. Look at the signs around you. They are not coincidences, but messages from heaven. When thrones collapse, when great names are brought low, when systems you once thought unshakable begin to tremble, that is the evidence that I am making way for a new season. Remember the words in Hebrews 1:2-7. The things that are shaken are the things that have been created, so that the things that cannot be shaken may remain. You see, everything that does not belong to me will be removed, so that only what truly comes from me will endure. This is not meaningless chaos, but the necessary winnowing to reveal what is true and what is false. The coming revelation will not resemble anything you have ever witnessed. It will surpass imagination, surpass the models humanity has built. I will not be confined within church walls, within predetermined rituals, or within old structures. My glory will pour out into the marketplace, into families, into small communities. I will touch those whom the world despises, and I will lift them up to testify of my name. You will see the forgotten ones becoming powerful witnesses. You will see the youth, those considered insignificant, rising up with fire burning in their hearts. You will see those who once fell being restored and becoming instruments of righteousness. This is how I work, turning ashes into glory. My child, I know there are times when you fear change. You worry that you will not have the strength to keep up or that you will be left behind. But I declare to you, if you remain faithful and obedient, you will not be abandoned. I am the one who holds your hand and leads you through every stage. You do not need to have all the answers. You only need to keep your eyes fixed on me. When you do this, you will find that though the world shakes, you will still stand firm, for your foundation is not human power, but me, the one who never changes. I want you to remember that the most important thing now is to prepare your heart. It is not about preparing wealth nor storing up false security, but about preparing your soul to meet me. I am calling for a new consecration, a deeper surrender. Spend time in my presence. Seek me in the secret place. Listen for my voice in every detail of your life. This is the hour for you to learn to discern between the noise of the world and the whisper of the Spirit. You cannot rely on your own wisdom, for human wisdom will quickly run dry. But if you allow me to guide you, you will always walk on the right path. Do not fear what is coming. Even if the days ahead bring greater shaking, it is in the midst of that shaking that my protection will become more evident. I am your fortress, your refuge, the one who keeps you in every circumstance. As Psalm 46 says, though the earth gives way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, we will not fear. Let this word become reality within you. Whatever happens in the world, my presence will remain your stronghold, and from that stronghold you will be sent out to bring light to places of darkness. Therefore, my child, rise up. This is the hour for you not only to keep faith for yourself, but to become light and salt for the world. This is the time for you to live not in fear, but in boldness. This is the time for you to be a witness not just with words, but with your entire life. I am preparing you to be part of the unveiling of glory that is coming. And when you remain faithful, you will see what eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, and what no human heart has imagined, the things I have prepared for those who love me. 1 Corinthians 2:9. Thank you for listening to today's message. Please subscribe and turn on notifications so we may continue receiving the living word together, building a firm faith and walking in the boundless love of the Lord. Amen.